delay can really going to want a strong luck build and a lot of damage. That is exactly why this delay can actually help us, because now you have a little more time to prepare your account before the update is here. So first let's talk about damage, because this is one of the easiest things to improve quickly if you focus on the right parts. First of all, get your stats to at least SSS rank. This is one of the fastest direct upgrades you can get, and it does not need a huge amount of time compared to a lot of other endgame systems. If your account is still sitting on low stats, just pushing those up already gives you a really nice boost before C2. After that, you also want a good damage title. The best damage title right now is Frost Empress, and you get that from defeating Ice Queen boss. That one can take longer for a lot of players, so if you want something easier, Void Empress from Infinite Tower is a really good alternative. And that one gives 77.5% damage, which is still amazing. And if you want an even easier version, then Eminence in Shadow from Shadow Dungeon is a very nice option too, because it gives 40% damage and is much easier to get. So titles are one of the cleanest things you can fix right now. After that, systems like Power and Spec Passive also do not take too long to get a decent boost from, and they can really increase your damage fast if you still have weak ones right now. Even if you do not get the full best version, just getting something decent there already helps a lot. And then lastly, for quick damage upgrades, Rune is another really good one. You can simply play Rune Dungeon for some time and get Wrath, which gives 63% damage, or Havoc Rune, which gives 88% damage, and both of those are already huge. huge boosts for a lot of accounts. So of course, there are a lot of other ways to increase damage too, but most of them take much longer. And if your goal is to get stronger before C2 as fast as possible, these are some of the cleanest upgrades you can do right now. Now let's move to the other really important part, and that is bounty, because this part might actually save you a huge amount of time once C2 drops. They said bounty is going to have uses now for spawning sea beasts faster, so if your bounty is not already high, this is definitely something you should start working on right now. And the reason this matters so much is very simple. If bounty helps you get into sea beast content faster, then having more bounty already means your C2 route is going to feel much smoother. There are a few ways to increase bounty. One is by defeating other players, but that method is not really the best because a lot of players just have PvP off. The much better method is defeating enemies, including normal mobs and bosses. So here is the best bounty farm I would recommend right now. If you already farmed on Lawless Island for some time, then you should already have at least some Abyss Sigils. This is the item you need to summon Atomic Boss. So first, go to Lawless Island and turn on Auto Summon for normal Atomic Boss. After that, on the same island, take the quest for the normal enemies there, because that will also give you gems and money while you farm. Then use a strong ranged weapon or melee. And the best options here are King of Heroes, Strongest of Today, or Ice Queen. All of them are really good because they have huge range. And that lets you hit both the boss and the normal enemies much more smoothly. So once everything is set up, turn on auto skill and farm both the boss and the normal enemies at the same time. That is exactly why this is such a good method, because you are not only farming bounty, you are also farming gems, money, and extra drops in the same route too. And if you do not have enough Abyss Sigils yet, then just farm normal enemies first for a while until you build.
When you start to dream about it, do not resist. That ominous book was found by Rust 22 Vane, or just Rust, in his single... When you start to dream about it, do not resist. That ominous book was found by Rust 22 Vane, or just Rust, in his single-player Minecraft world. At first, Rust recordings start out pretty normal, just on a horse, but then something pops on screen.
Hi there, this is my instant replay. I will explain shortly.
I guess he'll explain shortly, but as of now, it doesn't seem like anything is really going on. He just says goodbye to his horse, which is named Emma, and then he gets ready to head out to sea. This is pretty normal stuff, nothing that would make you think twice. But it's only once he actually sets off on the water we see why he's recording this. Something begins to appear on the horizon. It's entirely unclear what it is at first, but as the chunks start to load, we begin to see strange trees on a distant island. Jutting out from the island's core are what looks like enormous tentacles twisting up through the terrain and toward the sky. And above them, atop the island, stands a massive statue of some winged creature watching. Before Rusty even sets foot on shore, it's clear this is no ordinary place. Nothing about this looks normal to Minecraft. The entire island is placed and it's waiting to be found. And with that figure looming over on the mountaintop, Rust finally makes landfall and begins to explore. In Rust's investigation, he finds out that the island is entirely made out of chiseled tuff. You may have also noticed the polished diorite trees of azalea leaves that are all around him. This is an interesting place, to say the least, and the statue atop the mountain makes it no better. But Rust makes his way towards it. When Rust gets to the top, there's a lectern in the center with a book on it. We'll get to that in a second, but what stands out first is everything around it. Wildflowers laid throughout and the statue itself, which is built out of tough blocks. But it's way more intricate than anything on this island. Rust decides to finally check out the lectern.
When you start to dream about it, do not resist. You will learn its name. I resisted it. It is the sea. There is something in that place. I have seen it. It is not part of the city. It is above us. It is above. I cannot speak its name. I did not know a name could feel like that. It is so glorious. It is. Do not resist. I ask you, do not resist the dreams. I believe they are here now. The ones who worship it, I will now devote myself to it, to them, for when it rises, it will bring a new era.
We see that the book is titled Devotion to the Sea, and it reads less like something someone left behind and more like something someone had to write. What's even more shocking than the book is what Rust does after, which is pull out a book titled Chords. This book already has 5 distinct coordinates in it, and he adds the coordinates from this statue to the book. The video then fades out, and Rust is somewhere different entirely. Rust, this time, formally introduces himself, and we get the coordinate book explained. He has been finding statues like this all over his world, and he emphasizes that this isn't a world he downloaded or found, it's a new world he created. He tells us they're usually found around bodies of water, and that they usually have nothing below it like that one did. He says he's going to start documenting this, but he wants to give us some context first on something. He says that the very PC he's playing on was a gift from a relative who unfortunately passed away. But the thing is, he has no idea who said relative is, and his dad just randomly gave it to him. He said it was in excellent condition, so he didn't deny it, but there was a user already logged in on it named Zyarag. Rust says this name means nothing to him, but he tried looking for it online. No dice, he says. This is not a name that exists anywhere. So with all of that, Rust decided to take the PC for himself. With all that being said, Rust decides to dive into the book itself. Rust very specifically highlights the "when you start to dream about it" line. It's like it means something to him.
The funny thing is it mentions dreaming, but joke's on you, author. I never dream. Haven't since I was a kid. No, I'm for real. It's a whole thing with my buddies and I at school.
That's a very interesting detail about Rust, considering that this book is entirely written around the idea of dreaming.
They really want me. Me to not resist the dreams, apparently? No, but seriously, all jokes aside, I think I just downloaded something while grabbing my mods earlier.
Oh, okay, I guess that explains it. But Russ says he keeps checking the mods folder, and there's nothing in it that would be out of place. At this point, most people would leave the world and never look back, but Rust almost seems like it's drawing him forward. Like it's a challenge to find out exactly what this is and document it. So, that's what he sets out to do. He will document them all and he'll keep us updated. I wish what I had to say was that Russ stumbles upon a mod and calls it a day. A fun little adventure, case closed. But based on the way these videos appear on his channel, that's not what this is. Rust is in for something a lot more confusing than than that. A lot more unsettling. So, let's dive into the mystery of Rust 22 Vein.
ChatGPT can now create website wireframes. With our new custom GPT, we guide you through the process of creating a powerful prompt for your sitemap and wireframe.
Sailor Peace has gotten so big so quickly, they've had to make a number of changes to avoid getting sued into the ground, like renaming the majority of NPCs and bosses. UG became the Cursed Vessel, Gojo became the Limitless Sorcerer, and Sukuna became the Cursed King. They also changed the island of Hueco Mundo to Hollow Island, and even renamed the sword Ichigo to Soul Reaper. And when they added Madara onto the game, as a preventative measure, they just called him the strongest shinobi. Sailor Peace
Based on the way these videos appear on his channel, History of Rust 22 Vein. The second video, episode 2 of Weird Statues, opens with Rust riding Emma across the land. We don't really know why he's recording right now, but we know he's snipping an instant replay, so it has to be for something. And nearly instantly, we know why. There's a statue in the center of a village, which is not a body of water if you didn't know. Rust and Emma make their way toward it, but you might immediately notice that there is something off about this particular statue. The base, where there's typically tuff, there is cobblestone for some reason. But Rust doesn't pay it any mind. He wants to get a closer look at the thing's face. But, yeah, oops. Rust breaks the cobble, and water comes flowing out. Rust decides to drain the whole thing, seeing if it will reveal anything. Almost by accident, he finds a copper chest.
I thought if I could get the whole picture down on paper, it would make sense. Does not. Something sleeps there, in the deepest parts. Something sleeps there. The world doesn't matter. Whatever is sleeping here is with me. It is my head. It is my machine. You are mapping them. You are mapping them. You are mapping them. Don't know why. Don't know why. Don't know why. Mapping them. You are mapping them. You are mapping them. Don't know why. Don't. People seek it out. I've seen them. On my street, watching the house. They were gone, but I saw. Thurston, my name. I only hear the other name now. Do not say out loud. I don't know who gave this to me. I do not want to see that city anymore. I do not want. I want to go back to before I knew. Before the first train. Before the.
The book is filled with pages. Rust skips through all of them. There's too much to read. It's like someone went mad before they wrote this.
What in the hell? Hell. Hope you're doing okay. Thurston?
Rust decides to investigate the monolith one more time, and he finds even more. But Rust sort of just disregards this. This seems like a very clear warning from whoever Thurston is, but he just decides to write down the coordinates for the... Wait. There are more coordinates in Rust's book, and they are nearly 3,500 blocks away. Yet, he said he was going to show us every single statue he found. I guess he just forgot to record that one. Anyway, he documents the coordinates for this statue. and said this is the first find since he started. Something is off here, but we have no time to think about that. Russ tells us he looked for the name Thurston on his computer. For Minecraft, there strangely appears to be a Thurston dot in the XT file.
Hello, Thurston. I know you do not know me, but I heard you're a bright boy. Passing away soon, I heard you wanted a good computer for some time now. Luckily, I have the right one just for you. Your grandpa will be giving you this machine tonight. This is for you. Please enjoy. And I'm sorry we never met. But we're family. Always.
Russ then says he noticed there were more characters in the character count, so he scrolled down and saw this. It's another message from Thurston. This time warning about reading coordinates from a book in a chest. He says there were people outside last night too, and then repeats his name over and over and over. Rust doesn't know what to make of this. changed.
The last time we saw a mate series device in the Philippines was about 3 years ago.
Just to be clear, we do have Mate folding devices, one of which we reviewed pretty recently actually. But if you've been waiting for a brick type or a slab type device from the Mate series, then we finally have something new. And according to Huawei, your best Mate is back, and it's better than ever, engineered.
No matter what people want you to believe, don't ever turn back on your dreams. So please. Speak up, stand tall, our voice has spoken. Oh,
He just believes someone is messing with him, so he closes the book on this. That moves us on to video 3, which is also titled Weird Statues, and it opens the same way the others do. Video 3, which is also titled Weird Statues, and it opens the same way the others do. Rust is on Emma once again, but we don't really know why he's recording. At this point, though, we can reasonably assume he's found something again, most likely another statue. Except that assumption doesn't last very long. Rust finds a house in the middle of the woods, and he decides to check it out. There's nothing immediately strange about the space, but once he steps inside, something is clearly off. The interior is mostly empty, with the exception of a few barrels. There are no signs of life. Rust checks those barrels and finds only scattered random objects. But then he notices something above. Up in this attic, everything is changing. The walls are covered in these strange paintings, each one depicting a place that looks like it sits on a body of water. This place has massive walls and pillars. It's a structure that feels far too large and deliberate to be ordinary. Rust finds scattered prismarine blocks, which means someone in this house scoured the ocean for something. But his investigation mostly leads nowhere. There's nothing other than a painting of a cephalopod-like creature, which is the same kind we've been seeing on the statues. So there is a clear connection here, but we have no idea what it means. Rust comes to an intriguing conclusion. He believes that the city that Thurston is talking about in the books is the same place we see on these paintings. That makes him believe that this place belongs to Thurston, but he says that's impossible, as this is a new, single-player world.
This has to be a mod. Even if it is, it's ridiculously impressive.
I think it's pretty obvious to me that this is not a mod, but Rust, for some reason, cannot reach this conclusion. Regardless, things take a turn when he starts investigating the bookshelves. Rust finds a written book called The Excerpt. It claims to be an excerpt from an interrogation dated 1924.
We did not find it. It found us, as it finds all things eventually. You see, it came from somewhere your maps do not show. Now, before the ocean, before the land beneath it, even before the word for either, it was already here. I couldn't help but notice, but you people keep asking, what does it want? That is the wrong question. It does not want. It waits. There is a difference. Wanting implies it needs something from you, which it doesn't. But you are useful. The dreaming ones especially. But enough of them have seen the city. It remembers its existence. And when it remembers, it stirs. When it stirs, it may begin soon. You will ask what happens to the vessels. We asked this too once. We do not ask anymore. We have seen enough to know the answer is not something that translates. When it rises, officer, you will remember its name. Not because you learned it, but because you always knew it. Every human being who has ever lived has always known it. You, however, have simply been choosing to forget it your whole life.
The book says that this is from a subject that was arrested for praising an idol in a discreet location. Rust has some questions about this book, but those questions are going to have to remain unanswered, as we have no idea what this book is, whose house this even is, and what is even going on in Rust's world. Rust also makes the connection to the statues and the strange creature that is pictured on the wall. They match almost exactly. Octopus-like face with wings. Rust does not believe this is a coincidence either. He scours the house, looking for where Thurston would have kept his coordinate book, and eventually he finds something. This book is filled to the brim with coordinates, far more coordinates than Rust has ever documented.